Hello, everybody. Welcome to Module 4. Today, I want to go over what you're going to be doing in this module and share a few activities with all of you. So, let me go ahead and present so you can see. First of all, you guys have done a great job so far. I appreciate all the hard work you've done with the 2 article critiques. So, this week, we're shifting gears a little bit with this module. So, let's look at Module 4. I have it here on the screen. And when I go to learn, we know last week or this week that we just finished, we looked at emergent literacy. This week we're going to be reading chapter 5, which is about phonics and high frequency words and analyzing syllables. And chapter 6 is also high frequency words and fluency. There's a video to review also, so that's what you're going to be reading. Then for your assignments for this week, for your discussion board, you're going to do another video. For this video, you're going to do another demonstration like you did with phonological awareness, but this time you're going to demonstrate a strategy that can be related to phonics, syllable analysis, or high frequency words, and that will go on the discussion board. So try to keep it at around 3 minutes. If you go over, not going to take any points off for that, because I know sometimes to explain these strategies, you have to go over that. But I do want you to have a high quality response to your peers. The other assignment that you have is your first case study. So I'm showing you that right here. So you have a case study about a student, a second grade student who's reading at a pre-primer level. The student really stumbles with vowel digraphs and diphthongs. So if you don't know what a digraph and diphthong is, you're going to have to do some investigation on that, and a scope and sequence about diphthongs and digraphs. That's normally a first grade skill. A student guesses through at the end of the word. They can read the first 100 sight words from flashcards, but cannot read the words in context. And so just a few things. A student likes sports, animals. So you're reading a little bit of the case study. Now I realize that this doesn't have a lot of hard, fast data with, for example, it doesn't have a core phonics assessment, the specific data. It's more of a narrative form. But as best as you can with that description, you need to write a summary of your thoughts on student A. So that could just be a paragraph about a summary. And then you need to do 3 measurable, attainable goals. So think about those in like you would a SMART goal. What are 3 measurable SMART goals that you could write for that student? And then what are 3 instructional strategies that you could implement to help that student? And then lastly, how could you integrate faith? There is a rubric that you can look at for this. And so you're going to have 10 points if you can accurately portray the student, and you demonstrate a reflection of what the student needs. The goals are well stated and measurable. They reflect the student's needs. They're attainable. So think about that. Are the structural strategies stated correctly, and do the strategies align with the goals that the student has? Do you have faith integration in the lesson? And then, of course, we're going to look at writing. The citations would be any place that you took information, you need to have citations. So include in-text citations in your case study to show where you took any of the information. So if you took a strategy from your book, that would be an in-text citation. So that's what you're going to be doing this week. And if you have any questions, of course, you can let me know. Now, I wanted to share with all of you guys a strategy. And I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to share again so you can see it. So what I'm going to show you is an electronic blending board. Sorry, I'm turning my head. I'm trying to use a couple of things here at the same time. So this is an electronic blending board. And what I have created here, and I've made this for my students here at Southeastern, I hope you can see it. Looks like this. So this emulates or looks like my electronic blending board. My consonants are in blue and my vowels are in red. I can send you the website where you can do the blending board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what we call word chains. And I'm going to do these at the phoneme level. And so I'm going to start, I'm going to put these back over here. And so this would be on the board displayed for your students. The students are going to have this, and I just made this myself. So you're going to give them the word and you're going to say, I want you to make the word web. I usually have them tap it first. W, e, b. They hear 3 phonemes. We're going to put that up here. W, e, b. Then the students on their board, they're going to put the W, the E, and the B for web. Now, you're going to tell the students, I want you to change one letter and change web to wed. One day, I hope to wed. So you would let the students do that first on their board. Web to wed. Then you could say, now I want you to change one letter to fed. And of course, the students are going to change the W to an F. And then you're going to do that on your electronic blending board. So you could go on and do words like lead, let, wet, west. And then you could get into 4 phonemes. You could say went, dent, den, and so forth. So that's one thing I wanted you to see. And I'm going to show you where you can find this electronic blending board and word list for word chains. Now, you can also get into a little bit more complicated blending boards. So let me show you that. And let me go here and show you this one. So you can see with this blending board that it's a little bit more complicated because now I have my consonant digraphs, I have my R-controlled vowels, my vowel teams, and my diphthongs. A little bit more complicated now, right? Now, here I have mine on here. Now, because there is a template where you can create all of these, but that's a lot of letters to create. So what I did is I just made these right here blank because what I thought the students could do is they could write whatever diphthongs were needed. So in this case, let's say that you're going to work with the sound, IR. They could just write IR on here with a marker, a Visa marker. Then you don't have to create those letters. So you could say a word like, let's say first. First tap it. St. So we're going to, then the students would put the sounds up for first. And we have our IR. First. Okay? Now, we want to change it to firm. So again, we would go over here and go here. What about if I wanted sir? Put my S over here. And while you're doing this, the students are doing it on their board that they have. So again, that's just one strategy that you can use over and over and over again. It can get very complicated or it can be very simplistic. So I'll send you the link for the elementary blending board. That was the first one, or the intermediate one that's a little bit more complicated. The other thing I want to talk to you about briefly is sight words. And I'm going to post an article about sight words because there's a lot of new research that talks about sight words. And I want to kind of challenge what you've learned in the past about learning sight words because I know many of us, including me, when I was a new teacher, of course, we did our Dolch, we did our fry words, and we just constantly were showing those flashcards. And the expectation was that our students would memorize those. Now, it is true that we do have words that we want kids to know automatically. That's true. But a lot of research has shown, and what we're looking at is when we see a lot of these words, a good portion of the word can actually be decoded. And I'm just going to read a part of the research that we can look at. Of the 40 words on the first Dolch list, when you look at Dolch lists, 17 of them, that's 42%, can be regularly spelled. So, can, for example, is a Dolch word. That can be spelled and. So the question is, why are we having kids memorize it when it can be decoded? 15 were categorized as temporarily irregular. That means that a portion of the word could be decoded. So there are some words that part of the word can be decoded. Think, for example, I'm thinking off the top of my head, the word the. The TH is decodable. It's just the E is temporarily irregular. So my encouragement to you is when you look at those Dolch words and the fry words, really work on the words that are permanently irregular. For example, the word two, TWO. Okay, some of them are permanently irregular. All parts of it are. So I want you to kind of think about those, and those are the ones I want you to work on. So I'm going to send you this article and another one of that is permanently irregular. His, that's a sight word. It's a Dolch word, fry word, but you can sound it out. Is perfectly decodable. So think about if it's a decodable word, why are we having kids memorize it? Because what we want to practice is orthographic mapping, where kids are mapping the phoneme and the grapheme. And too many times we're just requiring kids to try to memorize it, the entire word. So let's just really focus on those words that are totally, permanently, irregularly spelled. And if it's a sight word that can be decoded, let the kids decode it. Okay, that's all I have for this week. You guys are doing a great job. If you have any questions, please let me know. And hey, after this week, you're halfway through the course. Have a great week.